A job that makes you climb towers to change a light bulb. A job where you need to walk over active landmines. And a job so extreme, no one wants to do it. Those are only 3 of the most dangerous jobs in the world. From straight up deadly, all the way down to high risk. And we gotta start with bike couriers. Because believe it or not, they've got one of the most life-threatening jobs around. And I know what you're thinking. How is riding a bicycle so dangerous? Well, when you see these guys swerving in and out of rush hour traffic at full speed, it starts to make sense. I mean, they're sliding between moving vehicles, racing through red lights, and dodging pedestrians all at the same time. Yeah, if Premium Rush taught us anything, there's an infinite amount of ways it could all go wrong. That's crazy. But what's even crazier is this next job. Because no matter what your journey to work looks like, I bet you don't have to climb hundreds of feet to your office like these crane operators. Imagine getting to the top and forgetting the keys to that thing. That would suck. Add to that the constant risk of being struck by strong winds, mechanical errors, and let's not forget about falling off the thing. Damn. Those are the kind of views you get from heaven. And this ain't quite the Garden of Eden either, because the gardeners working at this place are rubbing shoulders with death on the daily. This is the Poison Garden, and it contains over 100 of the deadliest plants on Earth, all in one place. How convenient. Take a tour, however, and you'll be greeted by this lovely sign on the gate. Yeah, they aren't playing around here. The gardeners literally have to kit out in full hazmat suits at all times, because some of these plants can stop your heart just by cutting them. And it's no wonder when you've got—
This plant is giant hogweed. It's phototoxic, so will burn your skin and give you blisters for up to 7 years. The berries, crushed up and fed to you, will kill you. The leaves themselves will kill you also, as will the root and the stem.
Yeah, those flowers are ruthless, but at least they won't slice you in half like these things. You know those giant ship propellers the size of 2-story buildings? Yeah, those things. Well, you just can't whack out the power hose when they get dirty. Somebody actually has to dive beneath those massive ships in pitch black darkness and scrub all those razor-sharp propellers to keep the ship running smooth. Just make sure the engine's turned off. All right, guys? And the bottom of those ships sure get rusty, so these guys might need to stay down there for a while. Man, I'm glad I'm not in their shoes. But I'm even happier I'm not in this bus driver's, because he's got the great responsibility of getting himself and his passengers through the most deadliest bus route in the world. See, the 1258 to Lima goes across the most treacherously narrow and winding roads high up in the Andes Mountains. Huh. Looks like getting the window seat isn't much of a bonus after all. When the main attractions are sudden drops and death memorials. Jesus! Maybe slow and steady really does win the race after all. I mean, it's better to arrive a little late in this world than early in the next. Deep down in the ocean is where scientists go to study the ocean's apex predators, sharks. That is one truly nail-biting research process. And in order to conduct this research, they're putting themselves in some pretty vulnerable spots, all in the name of preservation. Oh my God. He's surrounded. But it's all fun and games until an 18-foot great white decides to take a bite out of the action. Man, going face-to-face with sharks is just ridiculous. But that's nothing compared to what we got coming up. Because there's a job where you literally have to milk deadly venomous snakes, while another makes you fix power lines thousands of feet in the air. Yeah, I'll tell you guys all about that in just a second. But first, we gotta talk about the nightmare-inducing job of sewer diving. Because they're ready to get down and dirty in some of the most toxic places on Earth. No joke, sewer divers have to submerge themselves into the unknown to fix blockades. And let's just say there can be some pretty weird things stuck down there sometimes. Consider them superheroes who keep cities clean by doing the dirty work. And dirty is a major understatement. I mean, how many phobias does that tick off the list? They better pay well for that. And nobody earns their wages quite like Stunt Men, because these guys aren't dealing with trash. They're kicking ass. Or at least doing all the heavy lifting so the movie stars look good. Yeah, there's no way that didn't hurt. And I hope you didn't think those free falls were CGI. Or falling down the stairs. Sheesh. Talk about taking one for the team. But there's no job security when it comes to braving the elements, because storm chasers have one job and one job only: tracking down the most extreme weather conditions while getting as close as humanly possible to the action. They're basically professional adrenaline junkies who chase tornadoes for science. Literally on any given day, you could be dodging hailstones, lightning strikes, and flash floods just to get right into the eye of the storm and set up cameras. Yeah, every moment's a gamble with nature's fury, but nothing gets them ticking quite like a full-scale tornado. Damn, my guy's loving it. But you know who isn't loving it? The news reporter interviewing these bridge painters. Imagine being hundreds of feet in the air, hanging over rush hour traffic and inhaling toxic fumes. That's the last place you want to be doing anything other than watching your step, because bridge painters have to balance in a steel maze with a paint roller to get the job done. But even to get the job in the first place, you're going to need to pass a series of tests.
We had to take the test and prove we wouldn't panic. This is certainly not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, these guys are fearless.
Have you ever fallen?
Never.
Did you ever slip?
Yes.
Sir, I don't think he'd be doing this interview if he had, because messing up for most is a bad day at work. But for someone working a 600-foot high bridge, it's a death wish, or a heart attack at the very least. But those are rookie numbers for these guys, because if you want to experience the true meaning of living on the edge, try window washing skyscrapers that are over 2,000 feet tall. Jesus! Did anyone else consider an easier way of doing this? I mean, surely there's some modern technology for cleaning windows, and not just sending people up there with a harness and bucket. Now is definitely not the time to miss a spot. But just when you thought dangling thousands of feet up in the air was bad enough, it can get worse. Because back in 2013, 2 cleaners were left hanging 69 floors up when a cable snapped. The guys were stuck there for over 2 hours on an almost vertical platform until they were rescued. Good thing they had each other, because the people in charge of replacing TV tower light bulbs are all alone. See, not only do they have to climb all the way to the top to change a lamp, but the real job only begins once they're up there and actually fixing things. And don't get it twisted, he's got to get all the way back down after. There's no base jumping for these guys. That would be cool though. Luckily, workers like him only have to be up there once every 6 months, because I don't think anyone needs to see these kind of views more often than that. Yeah, that's definitely the highlight of his year. But what if I told you there's a vehicle so fast, it goes light speed? This is the Bloodhound LSR, the fastest land vehicle of all time, and a machine on a mission to set a land speed record. And in November of 2019, it did just that. 1,011 kilometers an hour. That's faster than a moving bullet. But you know what? I'd take a bullet any day over being the person who has to drive the thing, because at that speed, with 2.5 G's of force, driving isn't my idea of a good time. I mean, everyone likes an adrenaline rush, but that's just crossing the line. But speaking of lines, where's the line drawn between occupation and hazard? Because when you work as a lineman, your daily life is avoiding being electrocuted and falling from 1,000 feet in the air. They're pretty much the reason you're able to watch this video right now. And in the same time it takes you to press that like and subscribe button, it could all go wrong for them if they lose focus. Yeah, those are some extremely high voltage power lines. I'm talking over 100,000 volts of electricity surging through them. So the margins are very fine. Somebody get these guys a parachute. Damn! And get one for these bush pilots too, because sometimes when there's no runway or land strip in sight, you gotta improvise. See, bush pilots carry out aircraft operations in the most rugged and unpredictable areas on Earth. In other words, their whole job is literally flying where nobody else wants to fly. And you know, the worst case scenario for regular pilots is probably their aircraft nosediving towards the ground, but for a bush pilot, it's almost expected. The heck's this guy gonna land? Whoa. Now that's a real professional. But anyways, we're in the top 10 now, which means that the jobs you've seen up until now are a breeze compared to what's coming up. And to kick things off, we gotta talk about these guys, the unsung heroes of the most dangerous climbing routes in the world, Mount Everest. See, Icefall Doctors have the important role of creating pathways for others. And by others, I mean the hundreds of climbers who flock to these mountains every year to test themselves. That means they're literally trialing untested routes. where the ground could give away at any moment. I wonder which one of these guys has gone up Everest the most. So yeah, Icefall Doctors have the insanely difficult task of saving lives without losing theirs in the process, which isn't easy when the people they're rescuing are stuck in places like these. Dude was staring headfirst into frozen oblivion. But not everyone's as lucky, because for some people, being buried alive in snow is all too common. Meet Steve Crosier. He's a full-time Avalanche Cameraman and a professional mad lad who gets paid $100,000 a year to create and film avalanches from the bottom. And while that may sound like a lot of money, it's not like standing in the path of rushing snow to get the perfect shot is scary or anything. I mean, too far away and he might miss the shot, too near and he could end up dead. And he's not only fighting the natural events, he's causing them by setting up dynamite on the top of peaks. Or, as he likes to say,
all I'm doing is merely giving nature a little push to show it in its best light.
Okay, sure, buddy. Whatever floats your boat. Now, Steve might have a few screws loose, but he's not the only one, because I don't know what to call this next job other than pure insanity. Yeah, these iron workers are responsible for building the bridges, skyscrapers, and towers of big cities. And if you thought painting and washing them was tough, these guys build the damn foundations for those careers. And doing a bad job doesn't just mean getting dropped from the task force. It could also be a whole-ass building dropping to the ground. Sheesh. These guys don't just work with steel. They've got nerves of steel too. But nobody tests their limits quite like product testers. And I don't mean testing out Bluetooth speakers and skin creams. It's a little more hardcore than that. I'm talking bomb-proof suits for starters. That's right. They don't only test those things on dummies. Results are in. Good news, it passed quality control. Otherwise, this would have been a totally different kind of video. But from bomb-proof to stab-proof, these suits are more than just about style. Man, that's a lot of trust. And that's not even the craziest thing I've got to show you, because... Hold on a minute, is he... That guy lost his mind! I don't care how strong that glass is. There's no way I'm letting someone shoot an AK-47 at me from a few feet away, even if it's bulletproof. And these firemen are as courageous as it gets, because they don't just put out fires, they dive straight into them from the sky. No, seriously, they're the ones in charge of putting out remote wildfires that are burning through forests. So when the clock's ticking, saving time is the mission. Skydiving and firefighting doesn't get more high stakes than that. But look, now we gotta talk about a job so crazy, it almost sounds made up. I'm talking about snake milkers. Seriously, I didn't just make that up. See, the key component needed for anti-venom medications is venom itself. Because if a snake bite goes without treatment, the tissue around the bite begins to die, and that's when your major organs start to fail. So yeah, the only way to safely get your hands on venom is by milking a snake. And as you can already imagine, finding someone crazy enough to do that is quite the challenge. So much, in fact, that there's only 4 people in the whole United States qualified to do it. One of them being Jim Harrison, a veteran in the field, and a man who's able to milk up to 150 snakes in 2 hours. Oh, and he doesn't even wear gloves. Guy's a savage. While 150 snakes does sound like a lot, it's not all smooth slithering, because getting your hands on the most deadliest snakes come at a cost. Better your fingers than your life, I guess. Yeah, having cobras and vipers as your co-workers is pretty ridiculous. But it's nothing compared to what these bodyguards have to deal with, because they put their bodies in harm's way in order to protect some of the most hated people on Earth. And surprise, surprise, they're mostly presidents. And nobody has security quite like world leaders. Got a problem with election results? You gotta get through these guards first. And that's no easy task. I mean, check out this response to an attack during the president of Venezuela's speech. That's basically a human shield. And Kim Jong-un certainly doesn't take risks either. I don't think anyone's getting near that car, guys. When you have a job like that, you know what you're signing up for. Just like when you're signing up to be a lumberjack, you're facing up against a lethal foe.
Oh no! Whoops.
Yeah, I'd take an assassin every day of the week over a tree coming my way. You see, the lumberjack process is divided into different parts. So you've got your high riggers who set up structures to work on, your haulers, the strongmen who carry the logs, and the sawers who, you guessed it, saw. It's just a whole frickin' hazard fest. Sharp tools, falling trees, and the risk of falling out of trees. There's no way you can make that safe. But hey, at least they look good while doing it. And no matter how you cut it, where a log lands is always a roll of the dice. And the craziest thing is, sometimes you're literally cutting down the very thing you're hanging on to. Damn, those guys are crazy. But commercial fishermen are plain psycho. Because if you think out-of-control trees are bad, the ocean is much less forgiving. Yeah, when it comes down to man versus the elements, there's only ever one winner. And the stats don't lie. Being a commercial fisherman has a fatality rate 23 times higher than any other job. Man, they might as well write their wills before they get aboard, because half of those fatalities are from capsizing ships, which apparently isn't all that uncommon. Nowhere safe. Not even your own bed. But look, I think it's time we talk about the most dangerous job of them all. A job where a rough day at work could be your last. And I'm not even talking about the military. I'm talking about the elite special forces. Yeah, these soldiers are the best of the best, and they're tasked with the most secretive and dangerous military operations known to man. And they do not play around. I mean, they're able to breach buildings and vehicles in a matter of seconds. And there's no scenario these guys can't handle. Because if there's a problem, the Special Forces will solve it. Now, as crazy as these Special Forces soldiers are, it's nothing compared to the security forces of the world's elite. Because these people need to do whatever it takes to protect their leader, even if that means risking their own well-being in the process. From guarding the most famous celebrities to the craziest presidential motorcades, these brave individuals will stop at nothing to finish the mission. Look, if you want to hear more, you need to click on this video right now.